Hey friends, Sheila here, and today I am sharing 5 things I wish I had known about cycling in Vietnam. Last October, I spent about 3 weeks working on a supported bike tour in Vietnam. That meant I was sometimes cycling, I was sometimes helping the other cyclists. I had never cycled in Vietnam or anywhere else in Southeast Asia before, so I really didn't know what to expect, and a lot of it was new to me. But I ended up having a really amazing time and really loving Vietnam. And I think if I had known these things before, I would have helped absorb a little bit of the initial shock. And so I wanted to share them today so that if you are planning a bike tour in Vietnam or curious about a tour in Vietnam, hearing what I learned might be of help to you. All right, let's get going. The biggest thing I needed to get used to in Vietnam was the traffic. And that brings us to number 1, which is to be a part of the whole. When I got to Hanoi, Vietnam, the roads were filled with scooters and motorbikes and trucks and cars and people and bicycles and carts going every which way. There were vehicles coming out of little alleys, not necessarily listening to red lights. I was intimidated just trying to cross the road on foot, let alone thinking about getting on a bicycle. But I quickly learned that there really is a system to it, and in fact, it's actually really beautiful in its own way. In North America, I find things are more divided. Cars get mad at cyclists, cyclists get mad at cars, everyone gets mad at trucks. There's just a lot of road rage and grumpiness when we're out on the roads. My impression when I was in Vietnam, both when I was riding my bicycle and when I was in one of our support vehicles with one of our local Vietnamese staff, I felt there was more of this understanding that we're all part of this whole, we're just trying to get where we're going. Everyone seemed to kind of be looking out for each other and making space for each other. And as a bicycle, everyone's also really used to seeing cyclists on the road. It's not as unusual as it sometimes feels at home. And so you just kind of feel like you're this understood piece of a whole. Now, in order to be a part of the whole, that also means that, you need to play your part. So I would always try to move as consistently as possible, to not move suddenly from side to side, to indicate if I was going to go in a certain direction and make sure those around saw me. I tried not to stop suddenly or make any sudden movements. And I also made sure never to zip ahead too fast because people might not see me. So even though the traffic seemed really intimidating at first, I think I might actually be more comfortable in it than traffic we have here. It takes some getting used to, but I didn't find it as scary as it initially seemed. Number 2 is that honking isn't necessarily bad. This is another aspect of traffic I needed to get used to. There is a lot of honking in Vietnam. But I find people use their horns differently. Here in the city, I find when somebody uses a horn, often they really lay on it because they're grumpy about something that happened on the road. And as a cyclist, that can be really jarring and even dangerous sometimes. In Vietnam, I really felt that horns were being used as kind of this gentle toot toot, this little awareness. Hey, I'm in a car or a truck. I'm bigger than you. I'm behind you. I'm coming around. Give me space, don't make any sudden moves. It really seemed more like a communication tool for everyone to kind of know where each other were so that we could move around each other more seamlessly. That's my perspective, at least. If you are Vietnamese or if you've spent a lot of time there, definitely let me know in the comments if that's your experience or what your opinions are. Number 3 is road conditions can be unpredictable. I found that the quality of the roads could change a lot. Sometimes it would be perfectly paved, sometimes it would be broken pavement, sometimes there would be gravel or dirt. So you really have to be prepared for a wide variety of road conditions. There can also be a lot of debris on the roads, so there's a pretty high risk of punctures or flats if you don't have the best tires. So I really think it's best to go with strong tires in terms of durability and also wider tires for more comfort on that variety of road conditions. I went with 700 by 40s. I found that to be wide enough for virtually every condition I happened to encounter because I wasn't doing a ton of off-roading, and I used Schwalbe Marathon Pluses and never got a flat. If I were to do it again, I would probably use my tubeless setup, but that's something for a whole other video. Number 4, fenders are your friends. I say as someone who did not bring fenders and wishes I did. I have biked for years with Fenders on my commuter bike, and for some reason, have never had Fenders on my touring bike. I'm not really sure why. Because while I was in Vietnam, the tour leader and the bike mechanic were really noticing all this grit and debris that was getting tossed into the components of all the bikes, and they highlighted how having Fenders would really help to prevent this. And so I really think I'm becoming a Fender convert. For one, Fenders are going to help to protect your components from all that debris getting into them. And then of course they help to prevent you from getting covered in all the gunk that's on the road. And this is particularly important somewhere like Vietnam, where there's a lot of animals on the road. There's a lot of cows and water buffalo, and of course they're all gonna poop. And when the roads are wet and that poop is mixed in the water, and you don't have anything to stop all of that poopy water from getting on you, not only is that a little icky, but also from a health and safety standpoint, it's never great to have feces on you. There's something I never thought I'd say. On that note, wait, I need a demonstration device. I'd never really thought of it before until the tour leader on this trip suggested it, but it's really good to have a cover for your water bottle spout. I no longer have my water bottle that had the cover because it saw a lot of use while I was over there, but basically either like a full cover to go over your whole lid, or also, especially for mountain biking, you can find the ones that just have a little thing that covers your spout. I kind of prefer the full cover. The idea being that you want to protect your mouth from consuming any kind of dirt or bacteria or general yuckiness. And the last thing I want to say about bike touring in Vietnam, number 5, is it's really special. I really loved so much about it. I loved the food, I loved having pho for breakfast and sweetened condensed milk in my coffee. I loved the wild nature in the mountains, and I really loved the people we met. So many incredible humans, and it was extra special, all the kids that would run alongside the bikes and hold out their hands for high fives. It was a really, really special place to be. So those are 5 things I learned while bike touring in Vietnam. If you have ridden in Vietnam and have any other tips, definitely toss them in the comments below. That's it for this one. Thanks for being here. Have a good one. Bye.